What is up, my social anxiety warriors? It's Ed Barton, social anxiety coach again here. In today's video, I've got a special treat for you. I got a guest on the line. It's my triathlon coach, Gwens. She's a champion triathlete who overcame serious mental health issues to reach the peak of her game in her late 40s. She's been a massive influence on me in my fitness journey and my triathlon journey. And she's got a lot to say about the benefit of sport for mental health and overcoming depression and being housebound with anxiety. So check this video out, let me know what you think, and please leave your comments below the video. Thank you so much, Gwen, for agreeing to have a chat. I was just hoping you could maybe tell the people watching a little bit about yourself and give some of your background and some of your accolades.
So I'm a triathlete and racing for GB age group team. Been a triathlete about 8 or 9 years now. But formerly I was a modern pentathlete at elite level. We're talking like 20 odd years ago now. I won the world championships in the team relay in 1999. And was an Olympic squad member, although I didn't actually get to race in 2000 in Sydney. I came into triathlon through having a running injury. So basically I had an Achilles problem, and my running coach said, oh, it'd be a great idea for you just to stay fit using cycling. So did a bit of cycling and found I absolutely loved it. And so then went on from there to do my first triathlon, and I was quite successful as an age group, sort of winning many European and some world titles at sprint and standard distance. And I've just recently moved up to 70.3 distance to give that a go as well.
Okay, awesome. And that's half Ironman distance, right? For people who are not so familiar.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shock moving up to that, because it requires a whole load of additional skills, like things like the nutrition and the hydration. You've got to pay utmost importance to, and also starting out quite a lot steadier than I would do for a standard distance triathlon. And
just for people who aren't aware, like, what is the swim distance and the run and the cycle for that?
Okay, so for the half Ironman distance, it's 1.9 kilometer swim, 90k on the bike, and a half marathon run.
That's really inspiring as well to know that you actually got into it later on in life, around 39, because I know some people watching this channel are in there, a bit later on in life. So I didn't start triathlon until I was like 41, right after I started training with you. So it's never too late, really, to start working on your cardio.
It's never too late. I'm out here in Lanzarote at the moment on a training trip, and on the flight out I was chatting to, I think it must have been about half the plane were people coming over to do triathlon or ex-triathletes. It was just so funny. And one lady I spoke to, she said she was I think she was just turned 60, and she'd only taken up triathlon a few years ago, and she absolutely loves it too. It's really incredible.
Would you mind if we dive in a little bit, and could you tell people a little bit about your experience with mental health and how exercise has helped you and stuff? Because people who watch my channel will know that I'm a massive believer in exercise, really, as like a foundation stone of making big change in your life and overcoming any mental health issues.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I've been really active from a very young age. Was a swimmer, horse rider, but so fast forward on to the COVID period. I had been struggling a little bit even before COVID through work-related stress, and I think I probably was overtraining as well, and various things going on in life. And then when we came into that lockdown period, it was, even though we knew it was a possibility, it was still quite a shock, and it was life-changing, really for a lot of people. Well, most of us, I think, having to go into that lockdown, and suddenly the swimming pools were shut, which I think had a massive impact on me, and also the fact that we didn't know when they were going to reopen again. And then after kind of a month or two, all the competitions, the goals that I'd set for that year were just, gone. So I left. I just felt really lost, and I kind of started growing into myself, and I just went on a downward spiral into depression. And although I kept the exercise going initially, it didn't really have a focus, and I think that lack of goals then it just really affected me. So yeah, I got so bad that I actually had to I couldn't even get out of bed. So there was about 10 months that I couldn't work for. So it was really difficult to pull myself back out of that. So it probably carried on a good couple of years. I saw the doctor, and the doctor put me onto antidepressants. I was also going through the menopause at the same time. So the factors that were just suddenly present, so many negative things that were happening. And I found it really difficult to get out of that.
Yeah, like a double, triple whammy of all these different effects of COVID and the menopause, and then losing all your structure of goals and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, it kind of started pretty much as soon as COVID happened, but it wasn't until it was pretty much 2 years on from that, and my poor family. I mean, they were struggling so much to know what to do to try and help me. But in the end, so it was actually a dog walk that kind of changed things. So Mum came down. Mum lives up in Scotland, and she's got a lovely collie. I'm like crazy about dogs. So she came down and basically forced me to get out of bed to look after the dog, because she was going off off to see my sister so they could have a little holiday. And she said, right, the dog needs to be looked after. So I was there with my husband, Sean, but he backed her up and said, you've got to get out and look after the dog. So so that's what I did. And I think it was just that just a few little walks there and trying to get back outside, because I basically made myself housebound as well. So
oh really?
Yeah, I was totally. I couldn't even get out of bed most days. I would get out of bed, help David get off to school, maybe put some washing on, and then literally just go back to bed and either read or try and get back to sleep. And it was terrible, But I managed to get out of the house with the dog. Fortunately, the weather was gorgeous and lovely, sunny, and I took the dog out somewhere hidden away in the woods, so that I didn't want to see people. I was that bad. It's quite difficult talking about it, actually.
I can understand.
But I forced myself to get out, and that was like the catalyst, I think, for starting. And sort of over time, I built up, did more and more walking. Mum came back and was really delighted that I'd managed to get out. And then I guess after a month or so of doing that, I thought, wow, I wonder if I could even run. And so the first time I was in the woods, and I tried to run just a tiny little bit, just a little jog. And I thought, oh my God, like the muscle wastage was just terrible. But I thought, wow, I've done it. I've run for like 30 seconds, having not run for the best part of a couple of years. So from there, I just thought, right, I'm going to try and get a bit fitter then, because I knew that, I'd never, ever been in that state in my life. So it shocked me to realize how unfit I'd become. And of course, fitness plays a big part in mental health, as you know. And I think that was a big thing that was making me worse and worse, by actually staying in and isolating myself and not getting outside. So anyway, after a little while of trying to get a bit fitter and building up some stamina, doing more and more running and less walking, I had actually stayed in contact with Triathlon just to see how other people were doing, because the races had all restarted by then. So I knew, who was still doing well and who the new faces were. And I thought, wow, wouldn't it be amazing if I could actually do a race again? And I didn't think I'd be able to ever do a race again. I thought, right, I'll give it a go there. I mean, there wasn't much left in the season because it was quite late on. So I was too late to do any triathlons, but there was a couple of qualifying for the following year's championship. So I had to go though. It was a real struggle, but it was amazing to get out and see everyone again and race again, albeit in a very unfit state to run. The biking wasn't too bad, but the running was just dreadful. It was a case of just trying to get to the end. But somehow I did enough to get a qualifying spot for the World and European Duathlon team. And I also did an bike, which is a swim bike event, and I reasonably highly in that and qualified for that World Championships. Unfortunately, I made a plea to British Triathlon under their discretionary rule to say that although I qualified in the aquabike, it's really the triathlon that I would like to do. And the only reason I hadn't done one was I'd been in such the depths of depression. I hadn't done a qualifying race, and fortunately they agreed that I should have a discretionary place. So they upgraded that to give me a chance for the World Championships, which was last year. I just got to Pontevedra, and I came away with a silver medal, only missing out in the gold by 1 second, actually.
By a second, right? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I'd been struggling with an injury just before that, with a knee injury, so I hadn't been running. So actually, to get the silver was quite a decent result.
Incredible and amazing how that's all part of that amazing comeback arc as well, right? From jogging 30 seconds in the woods to then qualifying.
That kind of time space is only just over a year, you know. The first race I did back was September, and then the race in Pontevedra as well. But in the meantime, I'd done world and European duathlons and finished. Although I didn't get a podium because there was no involved, you know, sort of top 6, I think, in both. And slightly earlier, a bronze medal in the European aquathlon as well. So
wow,
bad as a
amazing.
Comeback.
Totally, and all coming from a place where you actually didn't even know if you would ever race again, or thought that you wouldn't race again.
I never believed I would race again until I'd done several months of training. Yeah. But,
that's incredible.
It shows like how people can come back from what you think is, you know, that's it, that's the end, and suddenly, you know, you're back. So now I'm back swimming and biking better than I ever was. The running's not quite there, but overall I'm probably racing quicker in triathlon than I was even before the depression. So, yeah, quite astonishing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's amazing, isn't it? And so important as well in terms of what we tell ourselves we can do and limiting beliefs. And, you know, people would generally say, oh, you get older and then you get more inactive and it's fine just to sit at home. It's like you and the other triathletes that we know are getting older and stronger and faster as they go on, and life is getting better and better for them as they train more and more. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, as it happens, I've got a bit of a project going this year, and it's probably a very outside chance that I'll get it. But I'm trying to turn professional in a second sport in my 50th year, which is now. So I turn 50 this December. I'll be 50. So if I could get the professional license, is very, very difficult to do, especially in Britain, because the standard in Britain is so high. But I'm going to give it my best shot, and if I do that, I'd be so proud. Yeah.
That's awesome. So inspiring as well, really. It's like, you know, because I have emails from guys who are a bit later in life and they're sort of saying, well, they're resigning themselves to living with mental health issues and stuff. It's like, this stuff is never too late. Like, you can always improve yourself and improve through training.
Yeah, you can. And it seems so impossible at the time, but I would absolutely look at exercise, improving your mental health. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be running or swimming or whatever. It can be absolutely anything. But I would suggest getting outside and getting in contact with nature is a really good way to start. So just going out for a walk, you know, and taking it from there.
So that was going to be my next question. For someone who's watching this, who is really at rock bottom and maybe feels like that makes sense to them, that they feel they should move their bodies more and it might help them, what, like you touched on there, just get up, get out, have a walk, get into nature.
Yeah, and don't be afraid of going out in the bad weather either, because I actually love going out when it's bracing cold wind, and it's sort of similar to a cold shower or getting in cold water. That really wakens you up. So yeah. I mean, obviously, yeah, the sunshine's gorgeous as well, because you need the vitamin D as well to improve you. But yeah, I'm a real advocate of doing stuff outside. Although I train quite a lot inside as well. It's the real benefit, I think, are outside.
Yeah, and I think we're evolved from nature and we're a part of nature, and it makes us there's something deeply rooted in us, right, that feeds us when we get back into nature.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it's been in contact with like all your senses, you know, listening to the birds singing and the wind rustling through the trees and looking at, you know, animals running across, squirrels running across the path in front of you. It's just wonderful.
Mm-mm-mm. And is there any other stuff apart from doing cardio and stuff like that? Are there any other tips that you would give people for their kind of self-care, or if they're struggling with mental health issues now, if they're really at the bottom like you were a few years ago, is there any advice you would give to them about getting out of a dark place or how to recover?
Yeah, there's a couple of other things I would say. I would try and eat healthily is really important. So to moderate alcohol, try and, if you smoke, try and limit that or stop that. Eat plenty of fresh fruit and vegetables and a nice nice diet. That I would say definitely diet is important. You don't have to go crazy and measure portions or anything like that, but you make sure you're getting all the main nutrients for, you know, your proteins, your carbs, and your fats, and the vitamins. That's really important. And the other thing that helped me was actually being more social. So just getting out, because I've actually, you might not realize it, but I've always been an introvert. But my personality.
Wow, I would not have known.
No, you wouldn't have guessed it because you've only met me in the last year or so. But I'm very introverted before the depression. But I think getting out and talking to people, just anyone really. It doesn't have to be someone you know. Just saying hi to people you meet and talking is great. Yeah. So perhaps if you are afraid of getting out and exercise, and if you've got a friend who's maybe also feeling the same, make a pact and do it together, because you're more likely to. If you've got somebody you've got to meet who's waiting on you, you know you've got to get out there. And the hardest part is out the door. Once you're out, it's not so bad, and you'll totally reap the benefit of it, and quickly as well.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you so much, Gwen. I really appreciate you sharing your experience, your expertise, and for being so open on the subject.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I mean, if I can help a single person, it's worth it. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly my philosophy as well.
Yeah.
Well, I really look forward to you either coming out here and using some of the 50-meter pause, or me coming over back home and training with you there soon. So I really look forward to seeing you and catching up in person.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait, Fred. Yeah. Okay.